China continues to dominate critical industries, despite continued efforts by the US from a breakthrough in chip-making technology to its stronghold on the rare earths market. The West is really struggling to catch up with China's critical might.
3 years ago, I visited a massive factory in the Netherlands where they build machines bigger than school buses that make the chips in your phone. The tour guide told me, these machines are like printing presses for the modern age. Whoever controls them controls the future. I laughed it off as marketing talk. Fast forward to today, and that same company, ASML, just made a move that's sending shockwaves through global politics. They're cutting China off from chip technology, and suddenly presidents and prime ministers are scrambling. Turns out that tour guide wasn't joking. The cheese-loving Dutch really do control the digital world. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
This new equipment achieves a resolution of 65 nanometers, a notable improvement from the previous 90 nanometers. China has announced a significant advancement in its semiconductor technology with the development of a new laser-based immersion lithography machine. The resolution of lithography machines is crucial for chip making as it determines how finely integrated circuits can be printed silicon wafers.
So who the heck is ASML and why should you care? They're just some Dutch company nobody's heard of, but turns out they're basically the only ones in the world who make these super fancy chip making machines called EUV lithography systems. Picture this, a tiny country known mostly for wooden shoes and legal weed somehow ended up controlling the most important technology in the world. It's like finding out your quiet neighbor is actually Batman, but instead of fighting crime, they're making the machines that power your phone's ability to show you videos of people falling downstairs. China's been trying to get their hands on these machines for years, but the Dutch kept saying maybe later while awkwardly looking at America for approval.
Current leading technology from ASML has a resolution of around 8 nanometers. Despite these advancements, Chinese companies are still working to close the gap with global leaders like ASML.
It's like watching your friend ask to borrow your car while you silently shake your head no. And the Dutch, being polite Europeans, just keep offering China a cup of tea instead of the tech they really want. These ASML machines cost more than $150 million each and are the size of a city bus. They use actual lasers to print circuits so tiny that 2,000 of them would fit on a single human hair. That's smaller than Trump's ability to tell the truth. Nobody else can make these machines. Not the Americans, not the Chinese, not even the Japanese. It's a complete monopoly that makes OPEC look like amateurs. The Dutch have cornered the market harder than Trump corners McDonald's during a Diet Coke shortage. The funny part, most Dutch people have no idea their country controls the tech world. They're too busy riding bikes and eating stroop waffles while accidentally determining the future of civilization. Meanwhile, Chinese tech companies are freaking out because without these machines, they're stuck making chips from 2015. It's like forcing them to use flip phones while everyone else has iPhones. America's been pressuring the Dutch for years, basically saying don't sell the good stuff to China or else. Classic American foreign policy, threatening your friends to protect your interests. Just like that one friend who won't let anyone else hang out with their other friends. With America blocking access to Dutch tech, you'd think China would just build their own machines, right? Wrong. There's a reason why President Xi is reportedly furious. These machines aren't just complicated technology, they're practically technological sorcery that's leaving Chinese engineers scratching their heads harder than Trump trying to pronounce nuclear proliferation. Let's get real about these machines. They're absolute monsters of complexity. We're talking over 100,000 parts coming from more than 800 companies spread across 3 continents. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture where the instructions are written in alien hieroglyphics and half the parts are invisible to the naked eye. China hasn't been sitting on their hands either. They've dumped billions into copying this technology, but they're still stuck making chips that belong in a technology museum. They can't produce high-speed memory chips, modern AI processors, or even basic microcontrollers for electric vehicles. It's like watching someone try to build a Ferrari with parts from a lawnmower. What makes these machines so special is their ability to create actual plasma hotter than the sun's surface just to etch tiny patterns onto silicon, and the precision required? Absolutely insane. If a single mirror gets misaligned by the width of a DNA strand, the entire $150+ million machine becomes an extremely expensive paperweight. The logistical nightmare is just as impressive. Each machine needs 40 shipping containers just to transport it, and assembly. That'll be 20 engineers working for 3 solid months. No wonder China can't just whip one up in their basement lab. This technological gap has left Chinese companies like Huawei desperate for advanced chips. It's like they showed up to a gunfight with a potato gun, while everyone else brought laser rifles. Without these machines, China's grand tech ambitions are basically dead in the water. Behind China's technological desperation lies a masterclass in American foreign policy manipulation that nobody's talking about. The US doesn't build these fancy chip machines, but they've become experts at controlling who gets them. Think of it as America's newest superpower, the ability to block technology they don't even make. American diplomats have been quietly running a pressure campaign on the Netherlands for years. These suits from Washington weren't bringing tulips or sampling local cheese. They came with thinly veiled threats about what might happen if the Dutch didn't play ball. Just don't sell your shiny toys to China was essentially their message, delivered with all the subtlety of a mob enforcer collecting protection money. The Dutch, proud of their tradition as neutral international traders, initially pushed back. We're just humble merchants selling to whoever pays. But America kept squeezing, turning diplomatic screws until the Netherlands folded faster than someone sitting on a fresh stroopwafel. What makes this strategy particularly devious is how America pivoted from technological leadership to technological gatekeeping. When they realized they couldn't make these machines themselves, they simply decided nobody they didn't like could have them either. It's the geopolitical equivalent of saying, if I can't have it, nobody can. The Pentagon's real nightmare isn't about who manufactures the next iPhone. Their actual fear centers on Chinese military applications and artificial intelligence. American officials stay awake at night imagining Chinese AI systems, powered by cutting-edge chips, potentially outsmarting American defense systems. That's the kind of congressional hearing nobody at the Pentagon wants to star in. When the Dutch finally announced export restrictions in 2023, China didn't take it well, dramatically labeling it technological terrorism. Quite the escalation for what's essentially a manufacturing dispute. Meanwhile, the irony thickens. American tech giants still rely heavily on Chinese factories for production, while simultaneously blocking China from technological advancement. And what we're seeing now is a total reshaping of global tech supply chains. South Korea's chip exports to China have taken a nosedive because everyone's being forced to pick sides in this ridiculous tech Cold War. It's like that awkward moment at the school dance when two popular kids are fighting and everyone has to choose which one to stand with. These restrictions aren't just hurting China, they're creating economic ripple effects across Asia. Meanwhile, American politicians are patting themselves on the back while your new iPhone gets delayed and costs more. The Dutch aren't just controlling who gets fancy chips, they're accidentally redrawing the geopolitical map of the world.